At 13 years old, most kids worry about math tests and basketball tryouts. But imagine walking out of your front door every morning, knowing that 50 cameras are waiting to catch your smallest stumble, your tiniest misstep. This isn't just any front door. It's the entrance to Trump Tower, and later, the White House. For Barron Trump, this wasn't imagination. It was his daily reality. Standing at 6'7", Barron Trump towers over most rooms he enters, yet somehow manages to maintain the lowest profile of any presidential child in modern history. His story isn't just about being born into one of America's most controversial families. It's about something far more profound. The extraordinary strength it takes to grow up in a hurricane while building your own shelter of calm. From the marble halls of Manhattan penthouses to the historic corridors of Washington, D.C., Barron has navigated a life few could comprehend. But here's what makes his journey fascinating. While the world watched, waited, and wondered, he quietly mastered an art that many adults never learn. The power of defining yourself when everyone else is trying to define you. In the next few minutes, you'll witness a masterclass in resilience that transcends politics, wealth, and family name. This isn't about taking sides or choosing camps. It's about understanding how a young man, thrust into an unprecedented spotlight, turned the very pressure meant to break him into the force that shaped his character. The lessons hidden in his story might just change how you handle your own spotlight, no matter how big or small it may be. The year was 2017, when America first truly noticed him. A 10-year-old boy, walking across the White House lawn, his eyes cast down despite being the tallest figure in the frame. That single moment captured everything about Barron Trump's unique position in history. The son of a billionaire-turned-president, caught between childhood and an unprecedented public role, carrying a weight few could understand. Born into New York's golden penthouses, Barron's early years were anything but typical. While other kids had playgrounds, he had a floor to himself in Trump Tower, complete with walls his mother let him draw on, a private kingdom where creativity could flourish away from judging eyes. But private kingdoms can't stay private forever, especially when your father decides to run for the highest office in the land. At an age when most children are learning to navigate middle school social circles, Barron was learning to navigate Secret Service protocols. His childhood milestones played out against a backdrop of historical ones. His first day of a new school coinciding with his father's first days in the Oval Office. Yet through it all, something remarkable began to emerge. A quiet strength that would become his signature. Think about the pressure cooker of expectations he stepped into. The son of a man known for bold statements and bigger headlines, Barron chose a different path. While the world waited for him to stumble, to crack, to become tabloid fodder like so many presidential children before him, he did something unexpected. He turned the intense scrutiny into a crucible for character building. This isn't just the story of a privileged kid managing public attention. It's a masterclass in something far more universal. How to find your footing when the ground beneath you never stops shifting. In Barron's careful navigation of fame, privacy, and identity, we find lessons that resonate far beyond the gates of Mar-a-Lago or the fences of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue NU. The transformation we're about to witness isn't about political sides or family dynasties. It's about a young man who learned to turn the spotlight's harsh glare into a light by which to forge his own path. His journey offers insights for anyone who's ever felt the weight of others' expectations, the pressure to conform, or the challenge of staying true to themselves when the whole world is watching. What follows is a story of resilience, but not the kind that shouts from rooftops or trends on social media. It's about a quieter kind of strength, the type that grows in private moments and proves itself in public ones. Through Barron's experiences, we'll uncover principles of personal sovereignty that can transform how you handle your own moments in the spotlight, whether that spotlight fills stadiums or just lights up a family dinner table. Early reports revealed Barron's passion for soccer, a choice that already set him apart in a family known for business and politics. He played for the D.C. United Academy team, demonstrating that even under intense security constraints, he would pursue his own interests. This wasn't just about sports. It was about claiming space for personal passion in a life largely defined by external forces. His educational choices further reflected this deliberate path carving. While his siblings attended prestigious East Coast institutions, Barron and his mother relocated to Florida, where he enrolled in a private school known for its educational innovation rather than just its elite status. This decision, while practical for security reasons, also symbolized something deeper: the courage to break from expected patterns and forge new ones. The development of his personal style also tells a story of thoughtful independence. Standing at 6'7", Barron could have easily become just another tall figure in expensive suits. Instead, he developed a casual but refined personal style that neither rejected nor fully embraced the Trump brand of luxury. This subtle rebellion, through personal expression, showed his understanding that true identity isn't about rejection or acceptance of heritage. It's about transformation and personalization. Perhaps most telling has been his approach to technology and social media. Growing up as a digital native in one of the world's most tweeted about families, Barron maintained a notably low digital profile. This wasn't mere avoidance. It was a conscious choice to control his own narrative by limiting its public accessibility. In an age where many teenagers measure their worth in followers and likes, his digital restraint demonstrated remarkable self-awareness and independence. His relationship with languages adds another layer to this self-directed development. Growing up speaking both English and Slovene with his mother, Barron embraced multilingualism not as a political tool, but as a personal bridge to his heritage. This linguistic duality became a metaphor for his larger approach to identity, the ability to move fluently between different worlds while maintaining authentic connections to each. The development of his coping mechanisms reveals sophisticated emotional intelligence. Rather than seeking external validation or fighting against the constraints of his unique position, Barron learned to create spaces of normalcy within extraordinary circumstances. Whether it was maintaining close friendships despite security protocols or pursuing hobbies despite logistical challenges, he consistently found ways to build a life that felt authentic to him. His journey teaches us that crafting your own path isn't about dramatic declarations of independence or rebellious rejection of your circumstances. Instead, it's about the quiet, consistent choices that gradually shape your direction. It's about understanding that while you can't always choose your starting point, you can choose how you navigate from there. This approach to personal development stands as a powerful counter-narrative to the common assumption that children of famous parents must either embrace or reject their legacy completely. Barron has demonstrated a more nuanced path, one where respect for family heritage coexists with personal autonomy, where the pressure of expectation becomes a catalyst for authentic growth rather than a force for conformity. The art of crafting your own path, as Barron shows us, lies not in the grand gestures, but in the accumulation of small, deliberate choices. It's about recognizing that true independence isn't about breaking all ties to your past. It's about weaving those ties into a stronger rope that can support your climb toward your own summit. Every name carries weight, but some names are heavy enough to bend steel. Trump, 5 letters that changed everything about growing up for a boy who never asked to be born into a legacy that would shape nations. From his earliest days, Barron's life was a study in contrasts. While other kids played Little League, he was learning to navigate the unwritten rules of life under constant observation. Let's pause for a moment and consider what it means to be the youngest Trump in the modern era. Your childhood photos don't just sit in family albums. They become front-page news. Your growth spurts aren't just marked on a kitchen wall. They're documented by professional photographers and discussed by strangers on social media. Your first day of school isn't just about new teachers and classmates. It involves security briefings and escape routes. The pressure began long before his father's presidency. Growing up in Trump Tower, Barron watched his siblings navigate their public roles, each finding their own way to carry the family name. But Barron's challenge was unique. He would be the first presidential child to live in the White House since JFK Jr. The comparisons were inevitable, the expectations astronomical. Most teenagers struggle with identity formation. It's a natural part of growing up, trying to figure out who you are apart from your parents. But imagine doing that when your last name is plastered on buildings across the globe. Imagine trying to discover yourself when millions of people think they already know who you should be. The weight of the Trump name brought unprecedented challenges. Every school project, every sports game, every public appearance carried the extra burden of representation. One misstep wouldn't just be a learning experience, it would be headline news. Yet through this pressure, Barron developed something remarkable, the ability to wear his name like armor while keeping his true self protected behind it. His mother, Melania, played a crucial role in this development. From the beginning, she fiercely guarded his privacy, understanding that the weight of the Trump name didn't have to define her son's entire existence. She created spaces where Barron could just be Barron, not the president's son, not the Trump heir, just a boy growing into himself. But the real mastery came in how Barron learned to handle public scrutiny. While some might have rebelled against the pressure, seeking attention or acting out, he chose a different path. He learned to move through the world with a quiet dignity that spoke volumes. His composure under constant observation became its own kind of strength. Not the bombastic strength his family name was known for, but something more subtle and perhaps more powerful. The weight of his name taught him lessons that most people take decades to learn. He discovered early that public perception and personal reality don't have to align. He learned that strength isn't always about fighting back or making your voice the loudest in the room. Sometimes, it's about knowing when to stay silent, when to let your actions speak, and when to simply walk tall despite the chaos around you. This isn't just about handling fame or wealth. It's about something far more universal. It's about carrying whatever name you've been given with grace, about finding your own way to honor your heritage while building your own identity. Barron's journey shows us that the weight of expectations, whether from family legacy or societal pressure, doesn't have to crush you. Instead, it can become the resistance against which you build your own strength. Through it all, Barron demonstrated that dignity isn't about what others say about you, it's about how you carry yourself when everyone is watching. His story teaches us that the heaviest names can either become anchors that drag us down or foundations upon which we build our own legacy. The choice, as he proved, is ultimately our own. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Barron Trump's journey has been his mastery of silence. In an age where attention is currency and social media presence is considered power, his deliberate choice to maintain privacy stands as a testament to a different kind of strength. This isn't the silence of weakness or fear. It's the calculated quiet of someone who understood early that not every thought needs to be broadcast, not every moment needs to be shared. Consider the environment that shaped this choice. His father, Donald Trump, built an empire on being vocal, on making headlines, on dominating conversations. His older siblings each carved out their own public personas. Yet Barron chose a path that seemed to run counter to everything his family name had come to represent. He embraced the power of selective visibility, understanding intuitively what many adults never grasp. Sometimes, the most powerful position is the one slightly out of frame. Grace under pressure isn't just about maintaining composure. It's about transforming pressure into purpose. For Barron Trump, the relentless public scrutiny became a forge where he crafted an extraordinary kind of resilience. His response to criticism, particularly during his father's presidency, revealed wisdom beyond his years. When social media trolls targeted his height, his appearance, or his mannerisms, Barron's response was masterful in its simplicity, dignified silence. But this wasn't just about staying quiet. It was about understanding that not every attack requires a defense. Not every critic deserves a response. He demonstrated that sometimes the most powerful reaction is no reaction at all, letting your character speak through your conduct rather than your comebacks. The way he handled public appearances during major events showed remarkable poise. Whether stepping off Air Force One or attending state functions, he carried himself with a natural dignity that deflected criticism and commanded respect. This wasn't the practiced charm of a politician or the calculated coolness of a celebrity. It was the authentic composure of someone who had learned to be comfortable in his own skin, regardless of who was watching. His approach to building inner confidence offers valuable lessons for anyone facing public scrutiny. Rather than seeking validation through social media or public appearances, Barron focused on developing his interests and abilities away from the spotlight. This private investment in personal growth became evident in his public bearing, the kind of genuine self-assurance that can't be faked because it's built on real accomplishment and self-knowledge. The transformation of challenges into growth opportunities became his signature strength. When critics tried to use his reserved nature against him, he turned that very quality into an asset. His privacy became mystique, his silence became strength, and his restraint became respect-worthy. This alchemical ability to transform potential weaknesses into strengths showcases a sophisticated understanding of personal power dynamics. Behind every headline, beyond every photograph, and beneath every public moment lies a profound truth about personal sovereignty. Barron Trump's journey from the glittering halls of Trump Tower to the historic corridors of the White House reveals something far more valuable than tips for handling fame. It shows us the raw power of owning your narrative through dignified silence and purposeful action. The lessons woven through his story transcend wealth, politics, and privilege. They speak to anyone who's ever felt the weight of others' expectations, the pressure to conform, or the challenge of staying true to themselves when the world demands a performance. His path demonstrates that true strength isn't found in dominating conversations but in choosing which ones deserve your voice. What makes Barron's example particularly powerful is how he transformed what many would see as constraints into catalysts for growth. The intense scrutiny that might have broken others became his teacher in composure. The pressure that could have pushed him into rebellion instead fostered remarkable self-discipline. The spotlight that might have seduced him into seeking fame instead taught him the power of privacy. Think about your own spotlight. Maybe it's not global media attention, but we all face moments where the world seems to demand more than we're ready to give. Barron's journey shows us that we don't have to choose between hiding from these moments or being consumed by them. Instead, we can learn to stand tall in our truth, maintain our boundaries with grace, and let our actions speak louder than any words could. The real transformation available to each of us isn't about becoming more visible or more vocal. It's about becoming more authentically ourselves, regardless of who's watching. It's about understanding that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in the quiet dignity of chosen silence, in the steady pursuit of personal growth, in the unwavering commitment to your own path. As you move forward from this story, consider this. What if the very pressure you're facing right now isn't an obstacle but an opportunity? What if the spotlight you've been avoiding could become the stage for your own demonstration of quiet strength? The power to transform scrutiny into strength, pressure into purpose, and challenges into character isn't reserved for those born into famous families. It's available to anyone willing to learn the art of graceful authenticity. Your spotlight awaits. The question isn't whether you'll face it, but how you'll use it to forge your own legacy of dignity, resilience, and genuine self-expression. After all, the most powerful statement you can make isn't always in what you say. Sometimes it's in how you choose to carry yourself through life's most challenging moments. Throughout his time in the White House, Barron maintained this approach with remarkable consistency. While other presidential children have used their position as a platform for various causes or personal gain, he turned his privacy into a shield. This wasn't isolation, it was insulation. He created a space where he could develop without the constant pressure of public opinion, where he could make mistakes without them becoming national news, where he could simply be a teenager figuring things out. This selective visibility became his superpower. By maintaining strong boundaries, he demonstrated that you don't have to share everything to have impact. In fact, his reserved presence often drew more respectful attention than any calculated public appearance could have achieved. He showed that mystery isn't just about keeping secrets. It's about maintaining the sovereignty of your personal space in a world that increasingly demands access to every aspect of our lives. The strength of this approach became evident in how it protected him during some of the most turbulent times in recent American history. While social media storms raged and political battles intensified, Barron's carefully maintained privacy acted as a buffer, allowing him to continue his personal development away from the chaos. This wasn't avoidance, it was strategic self-preservation. His mother Melania once said that Barron is not a kid who will say, "I miss this, I miss that," about their life before the White House. This simple statement reveals volumes about his emotional intelligence. He learned early to adapt without complaint, to find stability within himself rather than seeking it from external validation or attention. But maintaining such boundaries requires more than just staying quiet. It demands an inner confidence that many struggle to develop even in far less challenging circumstances. Barron had to be secure enough in himself to resist the constant pull of public attention, to say no to opportunities that might have brought short-term fame but long-term complications. The result of this approach has been profound. While many of his peers chase followers and fight for likes, Barron has built something far more valuable, a solid foundation of self-knowledge and inner strength. His silence hasn't diminished his presence. If anything, it has enhanced it. When he does appear in public, his composure speaks volumes about the power of choosing your own pace in a world that's constantly rushing. This isn't just about being private. It's about understanding that true strength often lies in restraint. In a world where everyone seems to be shouting for attention, Barron's quiet confidence offers a masterclass in the power of selective engagement. He's shown that you don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to have presence, that sometimes the most powerful statement is no statement at all. His approach challenges our modern assumptions about visibility and success. In an era where personal branding is considered essential and constant content creation is the norm, Barron's path suggests an alternative, one where privacy isn't just a preference, but a strategic choice that can foster deeper, more sustainable personal growth. The true test of character isn't just handling pressure. It's maintaining your own direction when the whole world tries to plot your course. For Barron Trump, this meant walking a tightrope between family legacy and personal authenticity. His journey of self-discovery offers powerful lessons in maintaining individuality while honoring your roots.